Hello everyone, today we're looking at the idea of splitting the Northern Line at Camden Town and rebuilding the station. There was a plan in the early 2000s to rebuild the station building, but that didn't address the junctions or the platforms. So how can both of these goals be achieved? Join me as we take a closer look, and if you enjoy these kinds of videos, please subscribe for more. Camden Town Station opened in 1907 as the junction station of the Charing Cross, Euston and Hampstead Railway. It provided interchange between what we know as the Edgware and High Barnet branches of the Northern Line. Then, in 1924, it was connected to the City and South London Railway after they were bought out by UERL, and it was extended from their terminus at Euston to join the line at Camden Town. New junctions were built that allowed trains from either the High Barnet or Edgware branches to run to either the Charing Cross or Bank branches in both directions. This created the Northern Line as we know it today. Over time, an increased demand and service frequency, as well as the night tube, have dramatically increased the usage of these junctions. Because of this heavy use, the junctions experience significant wear and tear, requiring frequent maintenance and reportedly need inspections every 24 hours. But the issue isn't just the junctions, it's closely tied to Camden Town Station itself. Despite its small size, Camden Town handles around 18.75 million entries and exits annually as of 2024. This is far more than the station was designed to cope with. Discussion about splitting the Northern Line has been going on for many years, but the bottom line is that it's impossible to split the line without doing something about Camden Town. The high demand means that the station cannot be closed during any work, so how do we resolve this predicament? First, let's take a detailed look at the station layout. The problem with Camden Town is how it was built and the smaller capacity it was designed for over 100 years ago. Like many tube stations from the same era, Camden Town was constructed by following the road layout above. There are 4 platforms in total. The Edgware branch's platforms are constructed under Camden High Street, while the High Barnet branch's platforms are constructed under Kentish Town Road. On each side, the southbound platforms are built underneath the northbound platforms. The station building and ticket hall are located in the centre of this junction, giving the entire complex a V-shaped layout. Camden Town has a very small ticket hall and only 2 escalators, one up, one down. Unfortunately, the station does not have step-free access either at the moment. Over the years, the station has had restrictions to entry, exit and interchange, depending on crowding. Before we get to the solutions, I'm going to digress and talk a little bit about Mornington Crescent, which is located between Euston and Camden Town. It's worth noting that Mornington Crescent is just 575 metres away from Camden Town. This station has had a strange history, with a low usage and being closed on weekends for many years. It was even closed from 1992 to 1998 after funding delays for lift replacements. Today, Mornington Crescent sees about 2.9 million entries and exits per year as of 2024, according to TfL official figures, which, to put this in context, is quite low for a station just outside Zone 1. The station is small and has only 2 lifts. If it ever needed to absorb excess passengers from Camden Town during times of restricted entry due to overcrowding, it likely wouldn't manage well, as it is even more inadequate for handling crowds than Camden Town. Additionally, Mornington Crescent is only served by the Charing Cross branch. We can infer that its close proximity to Camden Town and lack of access to the Bank branch services contribute to its low popularity. This brings us back to what can be done about Camden Town. The early 2000s plan to rebuild Camden Town mainly addressed the surface building and ticket hall's capacity, but it did not incorporate splitting the Northern Line itself. It left the platform level essentially unchanged, which is problematic because the platforms need to handle the additional passengers you can have entering the station. What is needed is a plan that meets both objectives: station building upgrade and capacity to manage interchange and crowd flow at platform level, as well as splitting the Northern Line into 2, and resolving the issues around the junctions as well. One option with longevity in mind is to resite the station slightly west of its current location. The proposed new station entrance would be on Inverness Street. There is a large building on the corner of Inverness Street and Arlington Street. This building used to be a bingo hall, but it is earmarked for a redevelopment in the future, with 250 student flats and restaurants, cafes and other entertainment venues. This could be an excellent opportunity to resite the new station here. The new station would feature 4 larger diameter platforms with southbound and northbound platforms stacked vertically. This is to enable cross-platform interchanges between the 2 separated lines. This plan would allow the existing Camden Town station to remain open and largely unaffected during construction. The issue is that resiting affects more than just Camden Town. Rerouting and splitting the lines isn't quite that simple. The Charing Cross branch of the Northern Line actually makes a right turn into Drummond Street after Warren Street before entering Euston on a curve. The platforms and tunnels curve around into Evershot Street after that and run straight up to Mornington Crescent and onto the Camden Town junctions. While doing this, the line crosses over the Bank branch which comes out of Euston heading west and curves into Hampstead Road, running close to but bypassing Mornington Crescent before meeting the Charing Cross branch at the Camden Town junctions. To connect to the new Camden Town station, both branches would need to be diverted, and some existing infrastructure would need to be sacrificed. The Bank branch, which is deeper than the Charing Cross branch at Euston, would take a wider radius out of the Bank branch platforms and end up at the new Camden Town station on the western set of platforms. After this, the Bank branch would continue on to Edgware, rejoining the existing line just before Chalk Farm. Diverting the Charing Cross branch is more complex and involves rerouting the tunnels at a tangent off the curve into Drummond Street and following Hampstead Road for a short distance before diverting to the new Camden Town station. Immediately after this diversion, a new station could be constructed near the HS2 development site at Euston. Ideally, the station would be integrated into the HS2 redevelopment plan. I've considered calling it Euston West to avoid confusion, but it should be directly linked to the National Rail station. The line would then continue on to the new Camden Town station as well, occupying the eastern set of platforms, and then continue on to the High Barnet branch by joining up with the existing line before Kentish Town, and continuing on to High Barnet. The justification for this approach is that Euston is primarily used as an interchange to the National Rail station, rather than a standalone underground destination. Most interchanges are typically between the Northern Line Bank branch, Victoria Line and the National Rail terminus, where the Overground's Lioness Line also operates from. Even though Euston is served by both the Northern Line's Bank branches and Charing Cross branches, the Charing Cross branch platforms are located further away from the Bank branch and the Victoria Line platforms, so most passengers prefer to interchange at Camden Town. Euston Underground Station was expanded in the 1960s with the arrival of the Victoria Line, and passengers were widened and escalators were added, and a new northbound Northern Line platform was built to allow for cross-platform interchanges with the Victoria Line, and also to get rid of the old City and South London Railway's Narrow Island platform. This was filled in on one side during the expansion and now only serves as the southbound Bank branch platform. The Charing Cross branch platforms at Euston are attached to the station complex and did not receive any expansion. They still feature narrow staircases at one end. Moving the Charing Cross branch platforms nearer to the HS2 site at Euston is not really an issue as long as they still have an interchange for the National Rail station. The Victoria Line is also over 50 years old and was built on a tight budget. With public transport usage increasing, Euston's ticket hall and escalator system will start to become inadequate in the coming years, especially with HS2 bringing more people to London. Relocating the Charing Cross branch platforms could prolong the adequacy of the 1960s rebuild by diverting those who want to use the Charing Cross branch to a new ticket hall and platforms about 300 metres to the west of the old ones. So what happens to Mornington Crescent? The new Camden Town station would be large enough to absorb the users of Mornington Crescent. Mornington Crescent would then close as it lies too far from the proposed new tunnel alignment and would be approximately 500 metres from the proposed Euston West station and about 500 metres from the new Camden Town station, which makes it redundant. There's also the question of what to call the new lines. The line that goes to High Barnet via Charing Cross I would keep as the northern line because it's more northern than the other one. The line that goes to Edgware via Bank from Morden I'm going to call the City and South London line for now. It's a bit long, but it pays tribute to its origins, and it's only one character longer than Hammersmith and City. So this is one way of splitting the northern line at Camden Town. Next time we'll look at the split at Kennington, which looks more straightforward, but it won't be, because I'm going to complicate it for the purpose of betterment of transport, so that will be coming soon in the next one. As always, thanks for watching, and if you liked the video, please like and share it and subscribe to the channel for more like this.